are back. Koi take themselves a 1-0. Sorry, the energy wasn't the first game. I wanted to bring it back with a bit more, kind of get the blood pumping as we come into the second game. But Koi, the reigning champions in 2022 summer, finally getting a bit of heat into them, moving those gears like a steam train. Slowly but surely, they are becoming a freight train that you cannot stop, and they look great in that game one.
I was going to say, I mean, we're back for game two, but Koi also look like they're back, right? I mean, Comp and Trymbi popping off on the bottom side of the map, looking to find these great team fights where we get one around that first Rift Cow that absolutely pops off. Like, it feels like we're really starting to see the Koi of old coming back to the LEC.
And looking on the other side of this, so great, obviously, congrats and, kind of great positives for Koi, for Vitality. Struggled yesterday against Heretics. Coming in today, struggling again. It does feel like, you are the #1 regular season team in Winter 2023. We need to see a little bit more from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like when you're coming in 7-2, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders, and I think there was a lot of weight on kind of looking at the mid jungle, right? I mean, I was even talking about, I think, Bo and Perkz, probably the best mid jungle that we have in the league, apart from maybe Yone and Niski, who looked absolutely spectacular as well, but we haven't got to see that same synergy. They haven't been able to bring as much to it to the table, and I am curious to see now if Vitality want to try and change things up a little bit, where we end up seeing Bo go back to something like the Kindred, where he looked great against Heretics, getting him off of the tanks. And I mean, that seemed to work fantastically for them in their previous series. We'll have to see now if they want to try and go for something similar here.
It's good to see as well. We obviously saw the video in the, before the day even started of the Vitality team. They're very up in spirits, are all feeling a bit more positive about things. And that is going to be key. You can't get down in these best of situations. But for Koi, they're just going from strength to strength. I really do, think that this team is looking fantastic right now. And again, just harking back to 2022, how they won their first championship and, kind of really made themselves, a big kind of household name within Europe.
And I think one of the big things was obviously getting that comfort for Comp and Trymbi, considered the best bot lane in Europe last year. We're going to have to see if they're going to be able to do something similar. But this is where I want to see if they can get those pushing lanes once more, or if we're going to end up in a different situation where Bo can interact on that bot side, making things a bit more uncomfortable, especially now that Vitality have swapped over to the red side.
Yeah, Vitality chose red, despite choosing blue in the first. Remember, yesterday it was all red for whoever had choice between themselves and Heretics, so they're going back over to that. And Koi saying, look, we see what you're trying to do here. We're not going to let this area get through, so now we're kind of seeing that bot lane again getting more prioritization.
Yeah, I mean, Sejuani taken off the board. I'm curious if we are just going to get the Ashe ban last one from Vitality. This has kind of been their go-to a lot when they're on that red side, but Koi as well, they've got options here. Do you want to get rid of the Vi? Do you want to try and go for a first pick Maokai? Like, this is where you're kind of deciding how you want this first pick to be defined.
Absolutely. The Elise got to be taken off the board as well, something you just can't really be giving over to someone like Bo. Loves to get aggressive, loves to have that kind of priority, but he's not going to be getting it this time around. But something as well we haven't really talked about, but we talked about bot lane priority and in terms of Comp and Trymbi looking fantastic. The Lucian Nami I was just about to mention hadn't been touched, but the Lucian taken off here, so the Ashe, the Varus, things like that still available here.
I mean, it feels like first pick Ashe is probably going to be your best bet. I think it's not only the case that it guarantees you push in that bot side, you can flex it towards AD carry as well, but also Trymbi looked fantastic on it in his last series. Like, those Ashe arrows were so crucial to finding picks on side lanes and helping to push Koi forward. Okay,
here we go. Okay, a little bit of an LPL special, bringing in the Nidalee here. Super fast clear, really good early ganks, but if it doesn't work out in the early, you lack a hell of a lot that we've seen from some of the meta junglers.
And I'm curious to see what they want to try and pair it with here as well, because Photon, renowned as a big Renekton player coming across from Challengers League as well. We know that's a very strong combo. You already have the Nautilus to set up really well on the bot side, and kind of having that flexibility for Bo where you can play towards bot, you can play towards top, could be very, very crucial. But Comp going to try and already go towards the Sivir, say, look, I want to make sure I'm not the target, but that might leave Trymbi out to dry a little bit on this bot lane.
Yeah, no, Koi kind of saying, look, we're happy with the scaling. We like Comp on something that can kind of build towards that late game monster. Something like the Sivir does fit into that wheelhouse alongside the Zeri. But now you got an opportunity here. Do you pick your jungler? Do you look for a solo lane? It's hard to see where you want to go for. I would imagine it's the jungler because you don't want poor matchups going into that Nidalee.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Malrang, you can kind of have a lot of options to fall back towards still, with things like the Maokai still being there, Wukong still available, Vi up. It feels like you're still going to get something that can do reasonably well, but we will have to see. Is going to be locking in that AD carry, so Neon going to go straight towards the Xayah, making sure he's got that lockup to follow through. Also, very good self-peel, which I think when you're playing against Koi, definitely going to be a big factor, especially as we start to move in towards those later fights. If you got an Ashe ult, if you got something from Malrang like a Vi, it can keep you safe here.
Well, both teams locking in their bot lane, but solo lane here for Larssen. We know how prevalent he can be and potent he can be on the Azir. And of course, we saw the Azir the last few days has just been fantastic at just being safe, keeping yourself relevant. And when you do get those 2-3 items, you are just a monster in team fights.
Yeah, I was curious to see what Vitality we're going to go with here, because I was kind of looking, and it looks Koi was kind of thinking the same thing, was do they just go full poke? You got the AP jungler, do you go with something like a Jace in the mid lane, try and play for this long range? But already they're taking the Jace off the board, so I actually think we will probably see something like that Renekton in the top lane for Photon, which actually Vitality ban away, which I'm surprised at. And then looking to see if you can go towards like something that can kind of help out with this Nidalee in the mid lane. It does mean you'll be more than likely like double AP, but I think something like a Victor could even help out here and just trying to control the movement from Koi, but it does again leave you kind of vulnerable to these Ashe.
I was going to say, with the Tristana and the Jace banned away, the Yone is locked in. That's going to be Perkz there, and this is going to now look to where it could technically go up to Photon as well, so it is still technically a flex, but you have got that AD, AP, you know, damage ratio going for the early game, and you get those two champions going, it is going to be difficult to stop them.
It's also just a lot of knockups, right? Like you look towards bot side, you look towards the knockup from Perkz in the mid lane. You set up for Bo if he ever wants to go for a gank. I love this from Malrang though, kind of going, right, well, if we are going to be looking to see Bo trying to go for these early plays, let's try and match it. Let's take something like this Zhao, very good, can tank up a lot of the early spear, or the later spears as well with his ultimate, and just make it very uncomfortable for Bo to operate if he ends up in that 1v1 duel against Malrang.
Yeah, well, this is the first Nidalee of the year here in the LEC. Last time she was played was for Xayah in spring 2022, so not too far away ago, but just about a year, week 3. He lost that one, unfortunately, so not the greatest of omens to give, but you've double AD, and we're seeing Adam getting a little bit of a reference here. Gonna see now Photon taking the Olaf into that top side, into Cassante, so a lot of priority again in the solo lanes here for Vitality.
Yeah, and I think if you can actually get control in the early stages here as Vitality, you are in a fantastic spot. I mean, you got decent late game scaling coming through with the Yone and the Xayah. You got great engage coming through from the Nautilus, being able to set up something like the Olaf incredibly well, making it actually quite difficult for Koi to keep their backline safe. But if Koi get control, they're the ones pushing, they're the ones dictating the pace of the game, and you could unlock Trymbi. It's going to be a very similar story to what we saw, where they're able to use Trymbi's Ashe arrows to take over in those side lanes, find those picks that they need.
And the big thing when we see Azir is range. Late game team fight range just becomes so obnoxious to try and deal with. So again, Vitality, they have a composition that they can work with. It can show early aggressive plays if they can find them. And for Koi, the longer they can keep themselves safe and relatively even, the better it is going to be for them and their entire composition.
And I mean, this is now going to decide who's going to move on towards playoffs. I think a very fun composition from Vitality, something very different from what we kind of expected in this meta. We'll have to see if they can catch out this squad of Koi, or whether Koi is going to be able to play that standard, like play again to try and unlock Trymbi and have that big play.
I'm joined by Arvindir, assistant coach of Koi. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, in game number 1, it was a little bit back and forth. What do you think you guys could have done to make it a little bit more clean?
I mean, I think we played a bit too much for item spikes. Like, there was one point in the game where like Zeri wanted IE and Larssen wanted Seraphs. So the game slowed down a bit. We didn't have a vision, and then randomly they got Nash. Like, not randomly, but they played a good Nash sneak. And then the game got hard. We didn't have that much engage, and it was like hard for Zeri to do much, even though she was really far ahead.
Great, thank you so much for the breakdown. And as to this game, of course, a Chinese jungler had to bring in a Nidalee, right? Were you guys expecting that one?
Like, not expecting, but he's playing it in solo queue, and we're kind of expecting him to play a carry jungler now with like how the first game went. So yeah, it was like Kindred, Nidalee, something like this. And let's see how it goes.
Thank you very much for joining me, Arvindir, and let's see if Bo will be able to carry this game. Back to you guys on the desk.
My boy Bo, that's who he is. Born and bred and forged in the fires of LPL.
The mad dog on the leash.
Yeah. Can he get off the leash?
I mean, he's kind of been put back on it, to be perfectly honest, by Koi. They've been doing a really good job in at least game 1 in trying to make sure Malrang prevented him from having any sort of plays. And comp now, starting shield early.
Yeah, starting shield, which means they can flash in. No, he doesn't have an aggressive setup here where the ignite goes down before the heal comes out. Comp flashes over the wall. Kaiser has nowhere to go. go, and Kaiser will fall. First blood to the bot lane of Koi. And that just feels like the cherry on top of what this bot lane has been for Koi.
I mean, Trymbi again going for the Hail of Blades. Ashe can go hyper aggressive, but I mean, Kaiser going that bit too far forward. Neon not willing to flash over the wall to try and find the kill, and to complement that there was nowhere safe for Kaiser to go. So easy first blood. Now Bo immediately going for the level 2, but Malrang is here to match.
They spotted him. They had a ward on him there, so they now know with the javelin toss coming in, it will be a 3v2 in favor of Koi. They're going to try and jump into this, but he started spell shield and the barrier. Oh, Dagda, this is disaster if they can secure this kill. Malrang gets that one. You still have an Ashe who's pushing forward. Kaiser will be able to get out with the dredge line, but oh my days, Koi are starting. This is literally better than Christmas.
I mean, this bot lane's over. You already have the push here for Comp and Trymbi. They have 2 kills already going in their favor, and Kaiser's only just come back and immediately is on the back foot once more. Koi are destroying Vitality through this bot side.
I mean, we talked about how, like, you know, you start with the spell shield. It's like, okay, not the greatest of things. That was the greatest spell shield level 1 start I think I've ever seen for a Sivir. Got so much value out of that one particular ability, and shows why Koi have just been able to work with. Let's have a look at the replay here, because again, this starts from the level 1 here in the bot side.
And I don't mind the call here from Vitality to try and make the fight happen, right? But this is the thing, is like, okay, Kaiser flashes forward, but if you're not willing to fully commit for this play and flash over the wall, Kaiser has nowhere else to go. So he just ends up falling. Neon doesn't want to try and go forward that much, and it means that then with Trymbi having the slow, having that range advantage, he can chase down, and you called it, Oisin, walking directly over vision. Bo gets spotted, Malrang's here, and without the spear landing, spell shield still available for Comp. I don't know if that was communicated to Bo, the spell shield was up, because you don't traditionally expect it as a jungler, but it means that Bo ends up paying the price as well.
Yeah, this is, and again, look, you know, regardless of how the bot lane was doing as well, but great read by Malrang. Kind of said, look, I can go bot, I can cover this, make sure I'm in position to make, you know, to make sure that Bo does not get ahead, because we talked about it. It's a carry jungler. You need to start fights, and you're going to keep going for this one. Malrang pushing forward here, going to try and catch out Kaiser. Yeah, he's dead to rights. Nothing he can really do there, and this is Koi. They're slaughtering Vitality in this first few minutes.
I mean, there's blood all over the bot side of River, and Koi just can't stop. I mean, Vitality, they want to try and get this push out. They want to try and make sure that Neon's in an okay spot, but now you have completely lost control. Comp and Trymbi can try and freeze this and only punish even further how poorly this bot lane has gone. Now again, we're seeing a similar story where in the top side, Photon is having good control. Perkz is taking a bit of damage, but maybe the solo layers from Vitality can try and turn this around, but Malrang here to match Bo once more.
Bo needs to try and get something up. This is the issue you have with the Nidalee. The Nidalee has to make things work later, because yes, you will still damage with the javelin toss and you will still have a lot of stuff to work with, but it just doesn't have the same kind of impact as something like a Zhao or even like a Lee Sin that has that hard engage to set up the rest of his team. But he's going over the side here. They want to try and fix this bot lane. They need to try and fix this bot lane, but you can see Koi saying, look, we don't have priority. Our Zhao is top side. We don't need to push up.
I mean, Kaiser's level 2 and trying to hex flash onto Comp who's level 4. Now Perkz in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, ooh, good flash away. Does not get hit by the wind becomes lightning. But Malrang has just been able to make this one work for himself. And even despite him being down in terms of CS, because he's got 2 kills, he's just been covering and he's actually ahead on a level.
And he could have even gone in topside there for Bo if he wanted to, but Bo now moving back towards mid. Minion Conga will save Larssen.
That was close. It is still level 3 Nidalee, so has got a fair bit of damage. Oh, Larssen with ice in his veins. I don't know if that was calculated or not, but damn, didn't lose a flash.
I mean, that was sub 10 HP. I saw 5 over in the corner there, so I don't know if that was calculated or very lucky. I mean, actually being able to glide away, just giving the extra damage to Bo there, but now Bo moving back down towards bot side. This is apparently a not farming Nidalee, which, if you're not making these plays happen, it's going to hurt you so much in the long run.
Really, really is. And just to anyone watching at home, of course, we have not got the scores on the HUD, but it is 1-0 to Koi. Vitality on the back foot here, and honestly, Koi couldn't have asked for a better start. So now, I kind of suppose the next answer becomes, with level 6s being hit here across the solo laners, is that your next priority? Because it feels like you need to try and go for something, but Maybe not in the mid lane. You do not have flash here for Perkz. He's going to be able to use the Soul Unbound, but guess what? That goes up, must come down, and not quite able to get away from the Emperor's Divide. Malrang 3-0-0, going back towards the Xin Zhao. Photon trying to see if he can maybe make something work here. Does have Ghost popped and no real way to try and stop it. Oh my god, breaking his ankles right there, and Photon just can't find any purchase.
I mean, breaking the hearts of Vitality fans as well. Photon was trying desperately to get something back on the top side, use the push he had, but now summer spells are all gone, ult is gone, and Szygenda knows that he can try and trade pretty heavily here.
Yeah, he knows he's very much in the ascendancy. There's no real kill pressure right now. He's not going to be able to chase him down, and he's not going to get to stop his ult from getting the knockback, so really, really good play right now from Koi, and this is what we were talking about coming into picks and bans of this game too. This is why we're so excited, I suppose, to see the kind of, you know, the comeback, if you will, of Koi kind of back to the 2022 form, because this looks fantastic. They are just controlling the map, controlling the game. As Neon underneath the tower, Trymbi does have flash, does have barrier, Perkz is there. Try and make something work, flash for flash, but they're not going to be able to. Oh my god, not able to hit anything there with the Fate Seals.
I just heard Trymbi giggling to me on the right-hand side. I was like, I wonder what's happened, and I just understand why. That is a disaster for Vitality, just being able to walk away from that one. Oh, this is, it's
getting sad.
Yeah,
it's
that's
getting
all
sad.
I got. That's
Yeah,
all I got.
it's getting a little sad right now, and look, for Vitality's sake, they went with something a little bit unorthodox. You gotta throw a curveball in there, but this curveball has just broken their wrist as they've tried to throw a strike against the side of Koi, and Koi are just sitting there, taking it in their stride, not worried about absolutely anything. And it's just about their early game. You know, you think about how this team has come in through the, you know, gold difference at 14 throughout the regular winter split. They weren't that great, but during groups so far, they've been incredible.
And now Szygenda trying to find the 1v1 on top side, but I think Larssen.
Yeah, he's looking for the play, does get the flash in, and the ult back. Perkz just trying to wait for his support and jungler to really help him out, but you've got the range advantage and you're just peppering down these health bars. Larssen picks up his first kill of this game, 5-0. Now on bot side, Comp trying to see if he can do something on the hunt has been used, the heal as well. Neon's trying so desperately to get something, gets a summoner trade, but it's just not enough.
And the thing I wanted to highlight for Koi was just like how good this team has been in like utilizing Larssen with Malrang over the course of this weekend with groups to actually get themselves these advantages. But now they've actually leaned into Comp and Trymbi. They're popping off, Larssen's popping off, and that early game that had been eluding Koi for so long over the course of the start of the split has completely gone, and Koi feels so back. Yes, Vitality will get this Rift Herald, but that means Neon has to die because Trymbi's here.
He's got flash, he's got heal, he's got ultimate as well. He should be able to keep himself alive because Trymbi does not have that enchanted crystal arrow. Neon trying to see if he can trade back. That's still a hail of blades on the Ashe. He's just slowing you perpetually, and you're gonna force the ultimate as well. Nothing is going right. I lie, there was one small thing. They got a Rift Herald, but it's such a small silver lining. What is a very dark cloud, and Koi are looking to really put down the hurt now onto this bot side. They're going to lose so much.
Yeah, I mean, Neon will stay. Bo trying to come over the wall, get some damage onto Comp, but not really going to be there. Kaiser is still level 4 at 10 minutes into the game. This is where Koi can just continuously pay for dragons, continue to play through this bot side, and Comp and Trymbi, they own the map.
I mean, yeah, you can see the XP there. Kaiser is 2 levels definitively behind Trymbi. Like, not even like, oh, a level and a half, he just hit it or something like that. It is 2 full levels in terms of support. And not having access to your ultimate as a Nautilus just feels so debilitating. And see Photon and Szygenda trying to go crazy in the top side. We will come back in here now into the bot lane as Comp picks up a kill. While that was happening, Szygenda did back away, or Trymbi going back in on the top side. We can see in the picture, he picks himself up a solo bolo. It's all going to hell, and Vitality, they're not ready. They're not ready for what Koi were bringing for them today.
And the biggest thing is when you take something like a Nautilus into an Ashe lane, it is all about the level 1. It is all about getting these advantages so you continue to punish Ashe when she doesn't have summoner spells, when she's vulnerable to some of these ultimates engages. But if you lose the level 1, like we saw Vitality do so, it becomes very easy to punish. You have the range, you've got the poke, you've got the slows. It is impossible for Nautilus to really do anything, and you're seeing a huge amount of it now. Kaiser just not going to be relevant, and the fact again that you get these quick kills coming through. Photon though, on the top side, going up against Szygenda. I mean, this is pretty much the way Olaf should be trying to trade in this lane.
Yeah, I mean, look, you want to be low level, or low health, I should say. Nice ultimate, just kind of stop him from getting taken away. Szygenda actually makes a little bit of a move there over the wall, unfortunate for him. But yeah, Photon, without a flash, without a care in the world, tries to take the trade back, but it's still a Cassante. He's still just disgustingly powerful, and that's a 3,500 gold lead coming up at 12 minutes. You do have the Rift Herald in the back pocket of Bo, but where can you use it? That would even net you a positive play.
I mean, realistically, they have to try and bring all the cavalry to this bottom side. Get Perkz, get Bo, try and have Kaiser come in here, but not having the ultimate available still on the Nautilus really does hurt you in trying to set up these plays because you don't have that point-and-click CC. So instead, they kind of bait down towards the bottom side is Larssen.
Larssen does get hit there, will not get hit by the Javelin, gets knocked back, so they get the ult for ult trade, while Perkz picks up a couple more plates in that mid lane. While they know that the jungler of Vitality is mid, we're gonna see Comp with a nice little spell shield. All it takes is one little auto attack to force out summoners here from Neon. The Ashe is just so oppressive. Kaiser wishes he had his ultimate to go for an engage over the wall, but he does not now. Trying to drop the Rift Herald into that mid lane. Gonna get a couple of plates. Bo gets hit by an arrow. Gets jumped on by Malrang. They're gonna try and knock him over the wall. Not gonna be able to get it, but it doesn't matter. The damage is just too damn good. It sticks to him like glue. Perkz trying to see if he can outplay this. Flashes towards his dragon, but the wind becomes lightning, and your death is confirmed. Your fate is sealed. 9-0 in kills, 13 minutes into the game.
And this is why I really don't think you can give Trymbi the... Malrang's just going to pass out here.
Execute.
I don't think you can give Trymbi the Ashe. I think Trymbi's been so incredibly good when it comes to these long-range Ashe ults. The fact it gives them so much control over this bottom side. I mean, we saw it in game 1 against SK, how good he was at setting up these plays. And then when it got towards the mid-game as well, using them towards side lanes, setting up kills for Szygenda, fixing Szygenda's lane, honestly, with that pick as well. So I think Koi... this is a fantastic performance from them. I think especially when they're coming in as the reigning champions, exactly what people wanted to see when we got to those best of threes.
Absolutely, and you can see now just the Ashe arrow, why it's so powerful, why it's so potent. If you don't get out of it, you're hit. The distance it travels increases the stun duration. After that, there's just not really a lot you can do here as Bo and Perkz.
I mean, just a really nice job from Malrang here as well. Holding on to the wind becomes lightning, just about manages to connect onto Perkz, and then flashing forward to get that last kill. Really good job here from Malrang. 5-1. A lot of this early game was obviously helped by Comp and Trymbi, but Malrang again, just honestly keeping Bo in check. Bo has been the big talk of Vitality, how well he's been working around the rest of the team, but as we've seen of late, he's been getting caught out more and more, and Koi punishing the jungler of Vitality once more.
I mean, look at the gold right there. Comp, Larssen, Malrang, Szygenda, the top 4. Then you're starting to hit the solo laners, and then right down the bottom, Trymbi has more gold than Neon.
It's never good when the enemy support has more gold than the AD carry. I mean, Gale Force is completed now for Neon, but he is so incredibly far behind. There's the Ashe ult, swing and a miss, but trying to play around Neon, not having that ultimate available for just a little bit longer, but Malrang going to run into many members here.
He is going to run into many members. Just got the ultimate off, so the Crescent Guard good, but you got Trymbi coming in here alongside Comp. I don't know if you want to try and fight this. The flash in, though, to shut him down. First kill of the game for Vitality. Goes a Photon, but the clean-up crew of Larssen is here. I will say Perkz does get a nice little kill back as Trymbi's very, very low. It's just turning around. Vitality just take a fight, and they find a 4-for-2.
We've seen it before where Photon grabs Vitality by the scruff of the neck and says, we are not losing this, and that's exactly what he does there again. Getting those kills, working with his team. Szygenda will manage to get this tower on the bottom side, though didn't have a TP to join in that fight, but Koi take a little bit of step too far forward, but it's still a nearly 4,000 gold deficit that Vitality have to overcome.
And the big thing is Vitality have to go for those fights. They can't, yes, they are trading a tower for the kills. They don't go fully cleanly on that, but they do get a tower in return. So we'll have a look at this one here, because again, I thought Malrang was going to be fine, but the damage is still very relevant.
And I mean, you can see that Vitality were prepared for this. Immediately Perkz TPs in behind the enemy team. Photon flashing forward, knowing he's going to have Perkz there to help him out as well. And Comp, I mean, they're just completely separated, right? Photon running them down, and this is a big worry that the one person that can actually really, well, two people that can really threaten the back line of Koi is going to be the solo laners on Vitality. 3 kills now for the Olaf. Suddenly he's looking way stronger when it comes towards trying to be that backline assassin.
Yeah, I completely see that. Photon, as you said, grabbing the team by the scruff and going, lads,
Get it together.
Get it together. We are still very powerful. We picked this early to mid-game. It's still the early game. We haven't hit the mid just yet. We will see Trymbi moving forward to try and see if he can maybe get a cheeky steal. No one going to push forward onto that, but 2 objective bounties. That gold lead not as huge as it used to be. Still Koi favored, but Vitality's showing they have a little bit of life in them.
Trymbi misses the Enchanted Crystal Arrow mid. They're trying to see if they can maybe crack open that turret, but with no wave in mid, now Vitality should be able to get the spot lane turret. Larssen trading on that top side, but this is where, again, Vitality are doing a good job of trying to play out map states, trying to see if they can keep these advantages going, collecting some of this standing bounties on the turrets as well, but Koi get top, they get mid, and I think this is going to be kind of the name of the game you see going far further is Koi having access to 2 of those TPs, whereas Photon opts for the Ghost and the Flash. It means that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to keep pace with Koi if they start to move around the map and get that tempo advantage.
Yeah, the map movement is going to be key here for Koi, but Vitality, honestly, I love that play. I love what they tried to do with the Dragon as well. It's fast. It's good pace to kind of say, look, we need to be moving forward. Maybe bait out a little bit of an overzealous TP, get that advantage off of the back of Koi, and then just keep the pressure on. It's a lot harder when you're about 4,000 gold behind, but it's still very much possible.
I think we're going to see the game slow down a little bit here, though. As I say, that Perkz gets hit.
He does get hit right in the face. It's going to take a while for him to go down. Perkz actually moves down towards this... I'm not quite sure exactly what he was trying to go.
I think that might have been the worst possible direction for him.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, at a 360 degrees, that degree was not the one I would have chosen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he didn't go back towards his own tower. There wasn't even help from Vitality there either, but I don't know, maybe misclick on the minimap or something along those lines. That does happen, but Vitality here, now on the back foot. They had presence on that bot side. They wanted to try and trade the aggression towards top end to see if they could trade for the tier 2, but now instead it's Koi pushing forward with the Rift Herald and having the numbers advantage on the opposite side.
Look, I'll give Perkz a benefit of the doubt. Maybe he tried to go for the kill, because I will say Larssen did go very, very low. So if he lands the Fate Seal, maybe it's a different conversation, but it does not happen. Koi do pick themselves up a kill and a tower, 3 towers up in that particular department, 5-2 on the scoreboard, 5,000 gold, or just a little bit shy of it. And right now it is just going to be about what Vitality can what they can do to disrupt the pace that Koi have been able to build themselves up. Because we talked about it in Champ Select, the late game scaling on this Koi roster is monstrous. You let the Sivir go, you let the Azir go to get to the point of 2, 3, 4 items, you're just really going to struggle unless you find the perfect engage. And a lot of the times you won't find it.
I think the big thing here is like, how do Vitality address this? It says TP topside.
Yeah, another Ashe arrow does land. It's going to hit onto Bo, who's still stunned as he tried to get over the side of the wall. But Malrang was waiting for him, and that's just more good play from Koi. They're just calling all the bluffs. They're saying, look, we know you're going to overload the map. We know you're going to try and make a play onto what you're stronger with, and we're not going to let you have that satisfaction. We're not going to let you have that opportunity to get back into this game.
I will say, though, a lot blown by Koi to just get a pick. Double TPs, but might get a bit more.
Yeah, Photon does not have his ult, but he does have a ghost, so going to scurry himself right out of there. But the Koi own this top side of the map.
I do agree, but I think, honestly, that's a bit of a win for Vitality. Yes, you do lose one of your jungler, but there's no objective for them to take, right? Baron's only just spawned. You're still going to be able to clear out these waves. Perkz is getting pushed on bot side, and having 2 TPs down is fantastic here as Trymbi not quite able to get that ult on towards Olaf on the top side.
No, not quite yet, but is the thing with the cooldown Ashe. It's already a quarter of the way done. Kaiser runs forward. Kaiser taking a lot of damage, and Kaiser falls, but they're going to take the fight anyway. It's a 1-for-1. You lost a jungler for a support. TP comes in from Perkz. It's almost a mirror of the last fight around Red Bull. We saw Larssen might be in a lot of trouble here. He does get the ultimate off to try and stop Perkz from getting anything else. Szygenda, Silica Sante, they go forward. Trymbi's left isolated on his own. Finally, Comp joins the fight, and Comp can start to really rip through them. Eventually, the Larssen will die. The Baron's still doing damage. Baron plays for Vitality, and Baron sets it up on a nice little play. Bo will not be taken down just yet, but Comp is doing so much for this Koi lineup. It was a 5v4, but Koi still make it work.
Just about. Kaiser has respawn, though, is full health, and Perkz is here.
Here we go.
He's steadily been moving up. Comp so strong though, and Kaiser still level 8. He's 5 levels down on Koi's AD carry. It looks like Vitality will just back away.
I mean, he's a level up on Perkz right now. Comp level 13 to Perkz level 12. So really just doing so much now. And honestly, again, Vitality not wrong to go for that fight. They recognized Comp wasn't there, and by getting the TP in, they were able to get so much done. But you can see as the game goes on, the more items that are built, the tankier this, top lane K'Sante becomes, the harder it is to try and break them down in a quick sweep in these team fights.
Yeah, and I think again, Perkz was pushing bot. I think Vitality were thinking, hey, if we can time this with someone on Koi backing, maybe we can catch them unaware, but Malrang immediately taken down. Kaiser is so under-leveled right now that it's easy for Koi to deal with, and this is just a really nice job from Perkz. Again, you talked about it, just almost a play for play what we saw initially with the Rift Herald. Perkz was back over the wall. Stopwatch from Larssen does buy time, allows him to almost get out, Trymbi to get over the wall, but Comp, as soon as he arrives from the mid lane, that's the difference maker here, where he's chasing members of Vitality out through this top side and making sure that they're able to bring home that advantage that Koi had secured on the bottom side.
I mean, look, to be fair to Vitality, if that one of those spears lands on the Trymbi, that could be a very different situation. Bo stays alive, the Sivir's isolated, you might be able to burst her down with the Nidalee and the Yone combination, but a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas, a lot of if, buts, and maybes, but the only definite we can see right now is that Dragon was secured, mid lane is going to be sieged down as well. Comp takes a full javelin to the face, and that brings him down to just above half HP, but it is still advantage after advantage for the side of Koi. Do not get it twisted. Vitality are showing us an entertaining fight, but they are still very much in the hole.
Yeah, it feels like a huge amount relies on both the solo laners for Vitality. Can Perkz get a big ultimate like we've seen, or get onto that backline? Same you look at Photon, he's gone on full movement speed / I need to catch people duty. He's got the stride breaker already, going for the spear Shojin, which gives you the increased movement speed when you're low. So this is definitely Photon trying to make plays happen, but
yeah, he would like to not lose the ultimate here, and he's going to be decent enough awareness that there's no one really coming to try and kill him off, as Vitality, the crazy thing is, as we said before, they need to keep this pace. They need to try and make sure that they can get someone off guard, try and get them off kilter.
I'm surprised to see Koi continuously investing these TPs though, because honestly I think if you actually spread out and you're able to force numbers advantages, you can go for it.
Here we go, they're going to go all out here with the K'Sante. He's actually very, very low, but they've got some decent damage here. It's a full 5v5 once more. The Fate Seal doesn't really do a lot, and now these health bars are going to start going down. Good sweep coming out from Larssen. And I think we're already starting to hit that late game stage. There's just too much gold on these carries.
I don't care what stage of the game it is. Koi are fully in control. Easy fight for them there. They immediately turn on towards the Baron, and Photon just a bit overextended, and Koi punish.
I mean, look at that. 3 items onto the Sivir. Comp game 1 and game 2 has just been the linchpin that has kept Koi together. But again, you see the idea from Vitality. They have to fight. They've got to go for something. The longer they leave it, the worse it becomes.
I mean, there was no need for Vitality to clear out that ward though, right? That's actually the straw that breaks the camel's back here. Forces Vitality into a fight because Szygenda had come down from the top side, and again, speed up immediately out to chase. Trymbi nearly able to catch on to Perkz. That would have been the clean ace there as well. Like, it's weird decision making from Vitality that's really hurt them there. Now, Arrow once more, won't find Perkz, but you might as well throw them out. It's on such a short cooldown.
And we'll have a short pause, hopefully. As we
You've
come
ruined
right.
it. It's all over.
I know, I had to. I'm only here for the weekend. I want to try to drag it out as long as I can.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be getting a game 3 with the way that this is going, which is maybe a little bit sad.
Never say never.
Look, I think from Koi's perspective, and especially with a lot of the fans that they would have picked up from winning last year as well, like, this is a fantastic performance from them. I love that we're getting Comp and Trymbi back on the stage where they're looking confident, just taking over against Neon and Kaiser. Larssen had a massive performance as well in the last series over the weekend, and we're seeing Malrang doing a very good job of keeping his lanes when they get a lead under control and giving them the opportunity to continue to play through strong lanes. So overall, this has been a fantastic moment for Koi.
And I love that you brought that up for Malrang as well, because he has just, the best way to describe what he's done is kept it under control. Bot lane went a bit haywire. You know what? I'm going to cover it. I'm going to make sure I'm in position just in case Bo decides to go for a level 2. Well, in fact, he did, if you're just joining us. And Malrang was definitely in position to kind of go for it. There is a 5,000 gold difference between Comp and Neon right now. It's not It was impressive in game one, but now Comp's just styling on them.
Yeah, 5K is generally what I see from a team, let alone from just a single player. And I mean, Comp has had a fantastic game. 7-1-7, nearly having his 4th item complete as well. And now with the Baron up creep wave, they're just going to start to siege this one.
Oh my god! Neon might be dead right now. They're going to look for Malrang to get him. He didn't even throw anything out. Just the pure idea that he might be able to kill him forces the ultimate out of Neon. Yes, you're getting turrets on the top side, but you're going to lose the game, Vitality. You can't just let this continue.
I mean, they were never going to be able to hold on to the spot lane turret, but now Photon does need to reset because Koi are setting their eyes on Nexus turrets. Szygenda moving in towards the mid lane turret. It's going to be a second inhibitor turret to fall. And Vitality, they don't have anything. Kaiser needs to try and find an engage for Nautilus that is so far behind level 9 at 26 minutes in the game.
Yeah, level 9, he is 3 levels down on his opposite number, Trymbi, and they are already on to the Nexus turrets. Ashe arrow goes wide. You can see the Koi kind of reset themselves around these Baron minions. Here we go, the Fate Seal lands on the 2, but Perkz immediately has to bring himself back. Larssen goes golden after getting the sweep, and it's going to be just that, you would imagine, for the side of Koi. They are going to take down the #1 seed of the regular Winter Split in a 2-0 fashion, and they're going to look damn good doing it.
Playoffs is here, Koi turning around at #1 in the regular split, and Koi are the ones that are taking them down. It's gotta feel good.
What a great way to get yourself into playoffs as well. They're 2 wins, they're in. That's how it is. Of course, Vitality, it sucks, but you're not out. You're only going to go down to the lower bracket. You've got obviously more opportunities forward, but for Koi, this is fantastic to see. Really, really well played. And again, it just screams to what we saw in 2022. It's just such a breath of fresh air to see him back and feeling more like that 2022 self.
I mean, this has been a phenomenal performance, especially the fact that we're getting Comp and Trymbi looking as good as they are, controlling that bot side both games now. And again, I really don't think you can actually give Ashe over towards Trymbi. It has been such an incredibly strong pick for him.
It really, really has. And fantastic win there for the Koi boys. It really did feel like Vitality were coming in. Like a lot of people were, favoring them. A lot of people saying, look, Bo's got the carries, but Koi didn't let that stress them. They took it in their stride and they said, you know what, we've got a plan. And that plan was foolproof. It really did feel like they had an answer for absolutely everything Vitality threw at them.
Yeah, and I mean, even coming in from the draft, right, they get control of our bot side. As you said, keeping control over Bo. Perkz not really able to get anything going because Bo was kept under control. And I mean, Photon was the only real shining light for them, but we've seen it, and I mean, the desk even talks about it. You get ahead as a top laner, it doesn't really feel like you can opt into much in this meta when bot lane is really where so much of the focus is at. Vitality now will have to find themselves up against either Heretics or SK. We'll have to see what that one is, but for Koi, 1 win away from finding themselves in the finals of the Winter Split.
Week 4. We're 4 weeks here into the Winter Split, but new format, same Koi, just smashing themselves towards the end game, which is, of course, another title, another championship as such, but it's still very early days. Vitality will have, as you say, a second opportunity to kind of bring themselves the beauty of double elimination, and I'm excited to see what Koi can do. And of course, if you want to see their player of the series, at LEC on Twitter, Malrang, Comp, and Trymbi. Honestly, it could go to anybody. I think even just in that game, it was just such a great setup for them. But
yeah, I love how in these games we kind of like fob it off onto the audience, being like, you decide, huh? Like, because honestly, 3 of them played absolutely spectacularly. The bot lane was popping off. Malrang 5 kills in the early stages of this game. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it really, really was. Well, we're going to send it over to Trouble, who's standing by with Comp.
Thank you very much, guys. Comp, thank you so much for joining me for the interview. This was a very LPL-esque pick from Bo in the last game, the Nidalee. Were you guys prepared for that?
Not really. We had no idea they wanted to play this. It's just we kind of knew that the way they drafted the 1-2 with Nidalee and Nautilus, they kind of will play crazy early game. And I think this game kind of reminded me game 3 versus JDG. Where Kanavi just flashed over Drake level 2
very
and we
fitting.
it's like I actually got deja vu kind of from that game, so it was really nice that we just matched again, and this time we ended up killing them. So yeah.
Absolutely, you didn't just kill them. This was a slow, a slow game for them, I would have to say. In terms of, you absolutely popped off in the bot lane. We chatted last week and you told me that you were not very happy with your regular split performance. How are you feeling now that you played such a good game?
Well, I'm actually feeling more healthier because I was actually like kind of sick, right, for almost the whole week. But also I think the way me and Trymbi kind of figure out how the meta is right now and all of this is completely different than the regular season, right? I think in regular season we kind of experienced some stuff like Jhin Rakan and some Ezreal Nami lanes, which didn't end up going very well, right? But right now I think we kind of figured out how we want to play, right? And I think we're kind of back to where we left last year.
I love to hear that because in PGL, Trymbi also said that he wasn't feeling his best also during the regular split. He didn't have the confidence that was needed. How are the comms right now? Because this looks extremely dominant.
It's been great. I think everyone's having so much fun overall. Like, I mean, we're even more bonded than last year in a way. I think everyone just kind of tryhards more, right? I don't think it's only because of the one change. I think just people are hanging out with each other a lot, like making funny jokes, all of this. So I think the atmosphere is just being really great, right? You kind of feel that you are actually a group of friends. You could be friends like in real life, right? But in the end, you are also players in the same team. So it's been really great, yeah.
Love the fact that you guys are also colleagues and friends at the same time. Now, of course, right behind us is going to be Mad and G2 just in a little bit. Do you have any thoughts on how this best of three will go?
I would assume G2 to win. I think it can be a 2-1. I can see the series being 2-1. Honestly, I think both teams kind of had shaky games yesterday, I would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would probably give it 2-1 to G2.
And why would you give it to G2 real briefly?
Sorry?
Why would you give it to G2 real quickly?
Because they have been our toughest opponent overall the whole last year. And I think right now, if we didn't talk about those two best of threes and we just talk about the first 3 weeks of regular season, I think everyone would put G2 like as an S+ tier team. So, yeah, I think probably they are just better also.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Comp, for joining me. As for us, we're going to go on to a very quick break. And when we're back, Mad versus G2. Stay tuned.
Jungle sleeps tonight. Let's go, guys. Let's boost that red side win rate up.
Photon trying to see if he can maybe make something work here. Does have Ghost popped and no real way to try and stop it. Oh my god, breaking his ankles right there.
I think I'm dead, okay?
Yep, baby.
Yone has no flash, but has ult.
Got this.
Oh, I think you're right.